You know how I've always wanted people to check out City of Mist, but the setting doesn't have that immediate fantastical appeal? Legends in the Mist is a new Kickstarter from my friends at Son of Oak, which incorporates the amazingly adaptive and simple mechanics from City of Mist into a new playstyle and fantasy setting. By far my favorite thing is the character progression system, where instead of subclasses or multiclassing or leveling up, you literally start out as a commoner with a basic job like apple picker, and you get to grow and change into a bona fide adventurer or necromancer or professional commander of all squirrels and raccoons. It's entirely up to you how you approach character growth. Among a million other things, the backpacks are awesome and it's incredibly easy to run the game and make enemies and hazards on the fly. I'm so incredibly and genuinely excited to share this Kickstarter. Down in the description. Thank you, Son of Oak, for letting me gush about this. Where was I? Welcome to a video about a group of monsters who arguably have the scariest name in all of D&D, the Inevitables.
Inevitable.
Except unlike Thanos, they literally mean it and you can't stop them. I think going back in time would just aggravate these things. The Inevitables serve as cosmic private eyes, auditors, accountants, judges, juries, and executioners for anyone with the magic or authority to employ them. As a brief example, say, a devil goes down to Georgia looking for a soul to steal. He's in a bind, he's way behind, and he's looking to make a deal, so he finds Billy Bob fiddling up a storm and challenges the guy to an age-old music battle that sounded something like this. But the devil, being behind as previously mentioned, can't afford a golden fiddle, and also nobody would make something like that. So he tosses Billy Bob a fiddle made of pyrite, subtly breaking the contract and leaving Georgia. Somewhere in a distant world, cogs begin to click and whirl as a giant eye glows. A couple days and a plane shift later, a big fucking godly machine breaks down the devil's front door, teleports them both to the timeout dimension, and proceeds to beat the absolute meat and potatoes, breaded and buttered up cheeks for weeks in, out, and off of the devil, due to a mineral-based technicality. That's the fun thing about them, they're not good aligned. They're neutral, technical, and a real stickler for written rules. So, if you want to include them in your campaigns, let me give you a rundown of how they're often activated. Welcome to Sigil, the best city in D&D, and it's actually full of really fun, cool stuff to do. Looking at you, Radiant Citadel, you unwiped diaper ass. Here you'll find the Hall of Concordance, the definitive home of contracts from across the plains. The governor of this hall, and a practical mechanical demigod who embodies legal documents, is called the Collier-Root. Is it root or rut? Let me check. Fuck me, I only have the hardback.
Marut.
This Stephen Hawking nightmare can surrender fragments of itself in the form of these four-armed, or previously two-armed and well-dressed, robot warriors. They look like a mix between Bionicles, Iron Man, and Foo Fighters. Their purpose is twofold: to make sure your contract is well written, enforced, and properly filed, and, if a breach of contract does occur, to learn everything about you,
I've read your file.
your mom,
What? I read her file.
your pets,
Having read your files,
your favorite ice cream,
I've read your file.
your footwork during combat,
Read your file.
and how the accused party broke the pact.
I read his file.
Let's hope it wasn't you. They have a really cool combat action where they can hit any number of creatures within 50 feet of themselves in a Master Yi style dash, disarming and potentially incapacitating every single person they hit. If you watched Fiona and Cake, you're a good boy, and you're probably familiar with the primary antagonist, the Scarab. He's a prickly stickler for the rules who imprisons cosmic entities for playing games on their computers during work time. And you cannot stop him. Literally, Golb couldn't even stop him. So that's these guys. But wait! Once you've completed a contract, which I forgot to mention is written on a gold sheet, you get introduced to the Collier-Root's big brother. Just in case a Collier-Root's abilities weren't already overkill, clocking in with a cozy CR20, the Marut is CR25. For context, Orcus, the demon prince of undeath and seeker of eternal silence, or even Zariel, the fallen angel and grand warmonger of Avernus, the eternal battlefield, would start f***ing sweating in the presence of this thing. Also look at their second edition design. That motherfucker means business. Inevitables haven't always been contract-centric, instead enforcing cosmic absolutes, which the early writers tried to come up with and did kind of a shit job. I'll explain later with the rest who got left behind in 3rd edition. But the Marut, who gets a lot of love and showed up in Xanathar's guide, enforces the inevitability of death. I mean, yeah, it's kind of funny, all it does is teleport you back to its workplace and then hit you very, very hard until you die. Okay, let's look at the rest. If you came up with a list of inevitable truths of reality, or fundamental laws that all beings have to abide by, you would enter a cosmic debate. I'd argue that the only cosmic truth is change and nothing else can be trusted. But you can't really enforce change, and saying that kind of puts me somewhere between an idiot and a soothsayer. That is a place that I like to be. But here's what they came up with, in order of how much sense it makes. The inevitability of death. The inevitability of time, the unchanging nature of the gods, the importance of contracts, the inevitability of justice, and the inevitability of the desert. Let's throw that last one away, that's stupid. The time dudes, Koruts, or Quartz, they're awesome. They hunt people who abuse magic like Time Stop and Wish. And they do so by finding you and then imprisoning you in temporal stasis to await your sentence at the end of time. The God Defenders are a bit silly. They don't care about alignment, what a god governs, or what it's up to, just as long as they're in their thrones and those thrones aren't being usurped, these things are happy. You already met these ones. The Centaur ones are awesome looking, but justice as a concept has kind of lost all of its merit to me. At the core of it, I think they just carry out whatever an established court decrees. For better or for worse, if a gavel hits its gavel thing, these creatures will make sure that a sentence is carried out. This one's stupid. I mean, you might as well be an inevitable agent of avocados turning brown, like who the fuck cares? Way back when, in the bygone age of 2005, the Spell Compendium hit the shelves. This book fucking slaps, and if you're looking for new spells, look no further than this. It can hold so many spells. Over 1,000. And in here, with flavor text so well seasoned it'd get duetted on TikTok by a legion of salivating dads, are 3 spells that summon inevitables. Call Ezekiel Hoot, 5th level. You make the necessary conjurations, and the powers of Mechanus respond. The Zellicoot fades into view, its centaur form accompanied by the sound of rattling silver chains.
Who seeks to escape justice?
Call Collier-Root, 7th level. As you complete the spell, the powers of Mechanus respond. The Collier-Root does not manifest before you as much as assemble itself in your presence, a single whirling cog unfolding until the construct stands complete.
Who is to be punished?
Call Marut, 9th level. You call across the boundaries of the universe, and the powers of Mechanus respond. The Marut warps into place in an eye blink with a whirling throb of thunder.
Denies death.
God, these guys are so fucking cool. Fuck me, they're just RoboCop and I missed it until the end. They're like badass buzzkills. I do have to say, Planescape is an enormous step forward for Wizards content. This book is surprisingly really fun, and I'm excited to talk about Sigil. I love overhauls of existing stuff with newly inspired passion. Honestly, fingers crossed we get more like this. But that's basically inevitable. You see what I did there? I revived a dead series I can't use anymore because how bad like this title would be. Okay, get out of here. I'm gonna sleep.